In the heart of the city, where the clamor of daily life never truly fades, there exists a small, unassuming park tucked between tall, gray buildings. This park, often overlooked by the city's hurried inhabitants, is a place where time seems to slow down. It's a refuge for those who need a moment of peace amidst the chaos. And every day as the sun begins its descent, casting a warm, golden hue over the landscape, a young boy named Liam finds his way to a particular corner of this park. Liam is a quiet, thoughtful boy of around 12 years, with tousled brown hair that falls into his eyes and clothes that speak of many days' wear. His shoes, though clean, are scuffed and worn from endless walking. He lives with his mother in a small, modest apartment a few blocks away, in a neighborhood where every penny counts. Despite their humble circumstances, Liam's mother, a kind woman with a gentle smile, has raised him with a deep sense of empathy and compassion. She has taught him to find joy in the simple things, to be kind, and to always hold on to hope, no matter how challenging life becomes. It is this hope and compassion that Liam pours into his music. Every day after school, he carefully retrieves his most prized possession, a well-worn violin handed down through generations of his family, from its case. The violin is old, with scratches and nicks that tell the story of its long life. But to Liam, it is beautiful. The sound it produces, when guided by his practiced hands, is pure and heartfelt. Liam takes his place on a weathered wooden bench in the park, positioning himself in such a way that he becomes almost invisible to the rush of people passing by. With his eyes closed, he raises the violin to his chin, drawing the bow across the strings in a slow, deliberate motion. The first notes are soft, almost tentative, like a whisper to the city. But soon the music grows, filling the air with a melody that is both haunting and uplifting. As the music floats through the park, something remarkable happens. The noise of the city seems to quiet, if only for a moment, as people slow their steps, drawn to the sound of Liam's violin. Some pause, letting the music wash over them, a brief respite from their busy lives. Others drop a coin or two into the small, open case at Liam's feet, though he rarely notices, too lost in his own world to care about the money. What he treasures most are the smiles, those fleeting moments when a stranger's face lights up with joy or peace as they listen. The music Liam plays is not just a series of notes, it is a reflection of his soul. Each day, he plays with all the emotion his young heart can muster. Sometimes a joyous tune that skips and dances like a child at play. Other times a slow, mournful song that speaks of dreams and longings yet unfulfilled. To Liam, the violin is not just an instrument, it is his voice, his way of communicating with a world that often overlooks him. Despite the beauty of his music, Liam remains largely unnoticed by the world. The park is a place where people come and go, their lives intersecting briefly before they move on, and Liam is just another part of the scenery. He doesn't mind, though. He plays not for recognition, but for the love of the music itself. For Liam, each note is a way to express what he cannot put into words: the hope, the pain, the dreams he holds within. One particularly crisp autumn afternoon, as the leaves drift lazily to the ground, Liam's music takes on a new depth. His mother has been working extra shifts, and he knows how tired she is, yet she still finds the energy to smile at him each morning, to encourage him to follow his passion. He plays for her now, for all the sacrifices she makes, pouring his gratitude and love into every note. The melody is soft, tender, like a lullaby, and as it fills the air, a few more people stop to listen, captivated by the raw emotion in the music. Among the listeners is an elderly woman, her steps slow and deliberate as she leans on her cane. Her face is lined with years of life, but her eyes are bright, and a gentle smile touches her lips as she listens to Liam's song. She stands there for a long time, as if the music has transported her to another place, another time. When the song finally comes to an end, she drops a few coins into Liam's case and, with a nod of appreciation, continues on her way. Liam opens his eyes, catching the woman's smile as she departs, and he feels a warmth spread through him. It's moments like this that make him feel connected to the world, that remind him his music has meaning, even if it's just for a few brief moments in a stranger's life. As the sun dips lower, casting long shadows across the park, Liam knows it's time to go home. He carefully places his violin back in its case, counting the few coins he's earned. It's not much, but it will help with a loaf of bread or a carton of milk. He slings the case over his shoulder and begins the walk back to his apartment, his heart light, the melody still playing in his mind. Liam doesn't know what the future holds, but as he walks through the bustling streets, surrounded by the sounds of the city, he feels a sense of peace. He has his music, and as long as he can play, he knows he will be okay. The world may be big and overwhelming, but in that small park, with his violin in hand, Liam finds his place, his purpose, and that is enough. For now, it's all he needs. The days in the city continue to roll by, each one blending into the next. The park remains a constant refuge for those seeking a momentary escape from the relentless pace of urban life. Amidst the bustle, Liam's daily ritual of playing his violin in the corner of the park persists. The autumn air grows crisper, and the leaves, now in full hues of orange and gold, dance gently to the ground, as if keeping time with Liam's music. His melodies, both poignant and uplifting, have become a staple in the park, like the trees and the benches that have been there for years. On a particularly cool afternoon, as the sun dips lower in the sky, casting a golden glow over the city, Liam begins his usual routine. His fingers glide effortlessly over the strings, coaxing a melody that resonates with the gentle rustling of the leaves. The park, though still busy, seems to hush itself, if only slightly, as the music weaves its way through the air, drawing people in. Among the crowd is a man who, at first glance, appears out of place in this tranquil setting. His sharp, tailored suit contrasts starkly with the casual attire of the park's usual visitors. His shoes, polished to a gleaming shine, click softly against the pavement as he walks. This is Mr. Carter, a man of authority and influence, whose presence commands attention wherever he goes. His hair, meticulously combed, is streaked with silver, and his eyes, though sharp and observant, carry a heaviness that hints at a life filled with both triumphs and burdens. As Mr. Carter makes his way through the park, his mind is preoccupied with the weighty matters of business, mergers, deals, and the constant demands of maintaining his empire. The park is not his usual haunt. He prefers the quiet solitude of his office or the comfort of his luxurious home. But today, something has drawn him here, though he cannot quite put his finger on it. Then he hears it. The music, a melody so pure, so filled with emotion, that it stops him in his tracks. Mr. Carter's thoughts are momentarily silenced as the notes reach him, tugging at something deep within, something he has long buried beneath layers of responsibility and ambition. He turns following the sound until his gaze falls upon Liam, the source of the music. The sight of the boy, so small and unassuming, lost in the music with his eyes closed and a look of serene concentration on his face, surprises Mr. Carter. He stands there, rooted to the spot, watching as Liam plays with a passion that belies his young age. Each note, each movement of the bow seems to tell a story, one of hardship, of dreams, of a life that, though difficult, still holds beauty. As Mr. Carter listens, memories he has long kept at bay begin to surface. He is reminded of a time when he too had dreams that were not measured in profits or success. A time when music was more than just a fleeting pleasure, but a way to express the emotions he could not articulate otherwise. Those were the days before life's demands took over, before he became the man everyone expected him to be. The music swells, filling the air with a crescendo that sends a shiver down Mr. Carter's spine. He is taken back to his youth, to a time when he would spend hours at the piano, lost in the notes, playing for no one but himself. The world was simpler then, and his heart was lighter, unburdened by the responsibilities that now weigh so heavily upon him. As the last notes of Liam's song fade into the evening air, Mr. Carter feels a pang of regret. How long has it been since he allowed himself to feel this way? To truly connect with something beyond the tangible, beyond the material? He realizes that somewhere along the way, he has lost a part of himself, a part that this boy, with his simple, heartfelt music, has managed to touch. Unable to walk away, Mr. Carter finds himself approaching the boy, drawn by an inexplicable need to know more about him. As he nears, he notices the wear on Liam's violin, the frayed bow, and the boy's worn shoes. These details speak volumes about the life Liam leads, a life of modest means, where every coin in the violin case is a small victory. Liam, sensing someone standing close by, opens his eyes and looks up. He is startled to see the well-dressed man before him, his piercing gaze fixed on the violin. For a moment, Liam's heart races with nervousness, but he quickly calms himself. He has grown used to people watching him play, though never someone quite like this man. "Hello," Mr. Carter says, his voice softer than Liam expected. "That was a beautiful piece you were playing." "Thank you, sir," Liam replies, his voice steady but polite. "I'm glad you liked it." Mr. Carter pauses, unsure of how to proceed. He has spoken to countless business leaders, politicians, and influential figures, yet this moment, this conversation, feels different, important somehow. Finally, he asks, "Do you play here every day?" Liam nods. "Yes, sir. After school, I come here to practice. I like playing for the people who pass by. It makes them happy, and that makes me happy too." Mr. Carter is struck by the simplicity of Liam's answer. Here is a boy who finds joy not in what he can gain, but in what he can give. It's a perspective that feels foreign to Mr. Carter, yet profoundly moving. "Do you take lessons?" Mr. Carter asks, curious about the extent of Liam's training. Liam shakes his head, a hint of sadness in his eyes. "No, sir. I've never had lessons. My mom taught me a little, but mostly I learned by listening and practicing. I want to be a musician one day, but lessons, they cost too much." The boy's words hit Mr. Carter harder than he expects. In his world, where money flows freely and no desire is beyond reach, the idea of a child with talent but no means to nurture it feels like a harsh injustice. He thinks back to his own youth, to the lessons his parents paid for, the teachers who shaped his early love of music. How different might his life have been without those opportunities? "Why do you want to be a musician?" Mr. Carter asks, genuinely interested in the boy's answer. Liam's face lights up with a passion that is almost palpable. Because music makes people feel things. It can make them happy, or help them when they're sad. "I want to play music that touches people's hearts, like it does mine. It's the one thing I'm good at, and I think it's what I'm meant to do." There is a moment of silence as Mr. Carter processes Liam's words. In them, he hears the echoes of his own youthful dreams, long buried under the weight of his responsibilities. He realizes that this boy, with his humble circumstances and big dreams, embodies a purity of purpose that he has lost over the years. Moved by a sudden impulse, Mr. Carter reaches into his pocket and pulls out a business card. Handing it to Liam, he says, "Here. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to call me. I know people who can help you get the lessons you need, who can guide you on your path to becoming a musician." Liam takes the card, his eyes wide with surprise. "Thank you, sir, but I can't accept charity. My mom always says that we should work for what we want, not just take it." Mr. Carter smiles, a genuine smile that reaches his eyes, perhaps for the first time in a long while. "It's not charity, Liam. Think of it as an investment in your future. You have talent, real talent, and it deserves to be nurtured. Besides, one day when you're a famous musician, you can pay it forward, help someone else in need. That's how the world should work, don't you think?" Liam looks down at the card, then back up at Mr. Carter. He sees the sincerity in the man's eyes and realizes that this is not just a wealthy man offering a handout. This is someone who sees potential in him, someone who believes in his dream. "Thank you, sir," Liam finally says, his voice filled with gratitude. "I'll think about it." Mr. Carter nods, satisfied with the answer. As he turns to leave, he stops and looks back at Liam. "And keep playing, Liam. Never stop. The world needs more music like yours." With that, Mr. Carter walks away, leaving Liam standing in the park, the business card clutched in his hand. For a moment, Liam is unsure what to think. The encounter feels surreal, like a dream he might wake up from at any moment. But as he watches Mr. Carter's figure disappear into the distance, he realizes that something significant has just happened, something that could change the course of his life. Liam looks down at the card again, the weight of it heavy in his small hand. He knows that this is an opportunity, a door opening to a future he had only dared to imagine. But it is also a choice, and Liam feels the responsibility that comes with it. He knows his mother would tell him to be cautious, to make the decision with a clear mind. But deep down, he also knows that this could be the chance he has been waiting for, a chance to turn his dreams into reality. As the sun sets and the park begins to empty, Liam carefully places the card in his pocket. He picks up his violin case and starts the walk home, his mind swirling with thoughts of what could be. The encounter with Mr. Carter has stirred something within him, an excitement, a hope that he hasn't felt in a long time. And though the path ahead is uncertain, one thing is clear. Liam's life has just changed in a way he could never have anticipated. The music that once only filled the corners of a quiet park may soon resonate in concert halls and beyond, touching hearts all over the world. And it all started with a simple act of kindness and a man who took the time to listen. The city is beginning to wind down as dust settles over the park. The once bustling pathways grow quieter, and the golden light of the setting sun casts long shadows over the benches and trees. Liam, having packed away his violin after the unexpected encounter with Mr. Carter, slowly makes his way home. His mind is abuzz with thoughts of the conversation they had, the business card now tucked safely in his pocket. Little does he know that his day is far from over, and the revelations that await him will alter his life in ways he never imagined. As Liam walks, Mr. Carter watches him from a distance, his mind a whirl of conflicting emotions. The boy's music had stirred something within him, something he had long since buried under years of corporate success and the trappings of wealth. Mr. Carter's heart had once belonged to music, but he had abandoned that path, choosing instead the more practical route of business, a choice that had brought him financial security, but at the cost of his true passion. Unable to shake the feeling that he must do more for Liam, Mr. Carter quickens his pace, catching up to the boy just as he is about to leave the park. "Liam, wait!" he calls out, his voice carrying a note of urgency that surprises even himself. Liam turns around, his eyes wide with surprise, as he sees Mr. Carter approaching him again. The man's face, which had been so composed during their first conversation, now looks almost vulnerable, as if he is about to share something deeply personal. "Mr. Carter?" Liam asks, unsure of what to expect. Mr. Carter takes a deep breath, his gaze locking onto Liam's. "There's something I need to tell you," he begins, his voice softer now, almost hesitant. "Something about myself that I think you should know." Liam nods, curiosity piqued. He had sensed that there was more to Mr. Carter than the polished exterior he presented to the world, but he hadn't expected the man to open up to him so soon. Mr. Carter gestures towards a nearby bench, and they both sit down, the evening air cool against their skin. For a moment, Mr. Carter is silent, as if searching for the right words. Finally, he speaks, his voice tinged with a mix of regret and nostalgia. "Liam," he begins, "I wasn't always the man you see before you. There was a time, long ago, when my life was very different. I was a musician." Liam's eyes widen in surprise. "You were?" Mr. Carter nods, a sad smile playing on his lips. "Yes, music was my first love. I played the piano, and for a time, it was everything to me. I practiced for hours every day, dreaming of one day performing on grand stages, sharing my music with the world. It was the one thing that made me feel truly alive." Liam listens intently, hanging on to every word. He can see the emotion in Mr. Carter's eyes, the way his voice trembles slightly as he speaks. It's clear that this is not an easy subject for him to talk about. "But," Mr. Carter continues, his smile fading, "life has a way of steering us in directions we never expected. My parents, they weren't exactly thrilled with the idea of me pursuing music as a career. They wanted something more stable, more secure. So I made a choice. I left music behind and went into business. It was practical, it was lucrative, but it wasn't my passion." He pauses, the weight of his words hanging in the air. "I thought I could live with that decision, and for a while, I did. But as the years went by, I realized that something was missing. I had all the success, all the money I could ever want, but I felt empty. The joy that music once brought me was gone, replaced by the cold, hard realities of the corporate world." Liam looks at Mr. Carter, his heart aching for the man who had given up so much. "Do you regret it?" he asked softly. Mr. Carter sighs, his gaze drifting to the horizon. "Yes, Liam, I do. I regret not following my heart, not staying true to what made me happy. But that's the thing about life. You don't always realize what you've lost until it's too late." There's a long silence between them, the only sound the distant hum of the city and the rustling of leaves in the breeze. Liam can see the pain in Mr. Carter's expression, the regret that lingers in his voice. He feels a connection to this man, a shared understanding of the power of music and the deep longing it can create. "But then," Mr. Carter continues, turning to face Liam again, "I heard you play, and something inside me woke up. Your music. It reminded me of the passion I once had, the joy I used to feel when I played. It brought back memories I thought I'd lost forever." Liam is struck by the sincerity in Mr. Carter's words. He never imagined that his simple playing could have such an impact on someone like him. The thought that his music had the power to rekindle a long-lost passion in another person is both humbling and inspiring. "That's why I couldn't just walk away," Mr. Carter adds, his voice steady with resolve. "I see so much of myself in you, Liam. The way you play, the way you pour your heart into every note. It's exactly how I used to feel, and that's why I want to help you. I want to give you the opportunities that I had and the ones I missed, because you deserve to follow your dream, to become the musician you're meant to be." Liam is overwhelmed by the offer, but also by the depth of Mr. Carter's revelation. He never expected that his music could have such a profound effect on someone, let alone someone like Mr. Carter. The idea that this man, who seems to have everything, once felt the same passion for music that he does, is almost too much to comprehend. "Mr. Carter, Liam begins, but he doesn't know how to finish the sentence. The words of gratitude and humility he wants to express seem inadequate for the moment. Mr. Carter smiles gently, sensing the boy's inner turmoil. "You don't have to say anything, Liam. Just know that I believe in you. And if you'll allow me, I'd like to be a part of your journey. I'd like to mentor you, to guide you as you navigate the world of music. I can introduce you to the right people, help you get the training you need. Together, we can make your dream a reality." The sincerity in Mr. Carter's voice is undeniable. He isn't offering charity. He's offering guidance, mentorship, and the kind of support that only someone who has walked the path before can provide. Liam's heart swells with emotion. He feels a deep gratitude, not just for the offer itself, but for the connection he now shares with Mr. Carter, a connection born out of a shared love for music and the recognition of its power to change lives. "Thank you, Mr. Carter," Liam finally says, his voice filled with emotion. "I would be honored to have you as my mentor. I promise I won't let you down." Mr. Carter places a reassuring hand on Liam's shoulder. "I know you won't, Liam. I know you won't." As they sit together on the bench, the last light of the day fading into twilight, both Liam and Mr. Carter realize that this moment marks the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. For Mr. Carter, it's a chance to reconnect with the passion he once abandoned, to find meaning beyond the confines of his corporate life. For Liam, it's the opportunity he has always dreamed of, the chance to pursue his love for music with the guidance of someone who understands its true value. Together, they will embark on a journey that will not only transform Liam's life, but also help Mr. Carter rediscover the joy that music once brought him. And as they rise from the bench and walk away, side by side, there is a sense of hope and renewal in the air, a feeling that despite the challenges that lie ahead, the future is bright and the music will continue to play on. The months that follow Liam's encounter with Mr. Carter are a whirlwind of change, growth, and discovery. What started as a simple act of playing the violin in a quiet corner of the city has blossomed into a life-altering journey for both Liam and Mr. Carter. The bond they form, rooted in their shared love of music, becomes the foundation for a new beginning, one that transforms their lives in ways neither could have anticipated. Under Mr. Carter's mentorship, Liam's life takes a dramatic turn. Gone are the days when he played his violin solely for passing strangers on the street. Now he finds himself in a world filled with new possibilities. Mr. Carter arranges for Liam to attend private music lessons with some of the finest instructors in the city. These teachers are not only skilled musicians, but also understand the deep emotional connection Liam has with his violin, nurturing both his technical abilities and his expressive artistry. At first, Liam is nervous about these lessons. He feels out of place in the grand studios, surrounded by students from wealthy backgrounds who have been training for years. But Mr. Carter is always there, offering words of encouragement and reminding Liam that talent and passion are what truly matter. Slowly, Liam begins to gain confidence. He practices diligently, not just to improve his skills, but to honor the belief that Mr. Carter has placed in him. As Liam grows as a musician, he begins to perform in small recitals organized by his music school. These performances are a far cry from his days playing in the park. The audiences are attentive, the stage is well lit, and the applause more sincere. With each performance, Liam's confidence builds, and he starts to see himself not just as a boy who plays the violin, but as a true musician with a future in the world of music. While Liam is undergoing his transformation, Mr. Carter is experiencing one of his own. Mentoring Liam reignites a passion within him that he had long thought extinguished. Music, which once brought him joy and fulfillment, becomes a central part of his life again. Mr. Carter dusts off his old piano, its keys worn from years of disuse, and begins to play once more. The first time Mr. Carter plays in front of Liam, it's a moment filled with emotion. His fingers, though rusty, glide over the keys with a familiarity that surprises him. The music flows from him naturally, as if it had been waiting all these years to be released. Liam watches in awe as Mr. Carter's passion for music comes alive, realizing that his mentor is not just a successful businessman, but also a gifted musician in his own right. Soon, their lessons evolve into something more than just instruction. Mr. Carter and Liam begin to play together, creating a symphony of sounds that blend the rich, resonant tones of the piano with the sweet, soulful notes of the violin. These sessions become the highlight of their week, a time when they can lose themselves in the music and forget the world outside. Through these duets, they forge a connection that goes beyond words, communicating through the universal language of music. As the months pass, the relationship between Liam and Mr. Carter deepens. What started as a mentor-student dynamic grows into something akin to a close friendship, almost like that of a father and son. Mr. Carter, who never had children of his own, finds in Liam the joy of nurturing and guiding a young life. He takes pride in Liam's accomplishments, celebrating every milestone with genuine happiness. Liam, in turn, looks up to Mr. Carter not just as a mentor, but as a role model. He admires Mr. Carter's wisdom, his kindness, and the way he balances his successful career with his newfound passion for music. Liam learns valuable life lessons from Mr. Carter, lessons about perseverance, humility, and the importance of staying true to oneself. These lessons go beyond the technical aspects of music. They shape Liam into a well-rounded individual who understands the value of hard work and the beauty of giving back to others. Their bond is not confined to the music studio. Mr. Carter invites Liam and his mother to his home on several occasions, where they share meals, stories, and laughter. For Liam's mother, these gatherings are a revelation. She sees her son flourishing under Mr. Carter's guidance, and she is deeply grateful for the opportunities that have come their way. She also forms a quiet but meaningful friendship with Mr. Carter, recognizing in him a man who genuinely cares for her son's well-being. The culmination of Liam's journey comes in the form of his first major public performance. Mr. Carter, ever the supportive mentor, pulls strings to secure Liam a spot in a prestigious youth concert held at one of the city's most renowned music halls. This concert is a significant event, attended by music enthusiasts, critics, and professionals from all over. For Liam, it's a dream come true, a chance to showcase his talent on a grand stage, something he never imagined possible when he was playing in the park. In the days leading up to the performance, Liam is a bundle of nerves. The pressure of performing in front of such an esteemed audience weighs heavily on him. But Mr. Carter is there every step of the way, offering reassurance and reminding Liam of how far he's come. "Remember why you started playing in the first place," Mr. Carter tells him. "Play from your heart, and the rest will follow." The night of the concert arrives and the atmosphere is electric. The grand hall is filled to capacity, the audience eagerly awaiting the performances. Liam stands backstage, his violin in hand, his heart pounding in his chest. He takes a deep breath, recalling Mr. Carter's words and the journey that has led him to this moment. When his name is announced, he steps onto the stage, greeted by the warm applause of the audience. The spotlight shines down on Liam as he takes his position at the center of the stage. For a moment, he closes his eyes, allowing himself to feel the weight of the moment. Then, he begins to play. The music that flows from his violin is unlike anything he's ever played before. It's filled with emotion, passion, and a depth that belies his young age. Each note is a tribute to the journey he's taken, the challenges he's overcome, and the people who have supported him along the way. In the audience, Mr. Carter watches with a mixture of pride and emotion. He sees not just a talented young musician, but a boy who has grown into a confident, determined individual. As Liam's performance reaches its crescendo, Mr. Carter feels a tear slip down his cheek, overwhelmed by the beauty of the moment. He knows that this is just the beginning for Liam, that the boy's future is bright, filled with possibilities that extend far beyond the stage. Liam's performance is met with a standing ovation, the audience applauding not just his skill, but the raw emotion that he has poured into his music. Backstage, Liam is met with congratulations from fellow performers, teachers, and even critics who are impressed by his talent. But the most meaningful moment comes when he sees Mr. Carter waiting for him, a proud smile on his face. "You were incredible, Liam," Mr. Carter says, pulling the boy into a warm embrace. "I always knew you had it in you." Liam smiles, his eyes shining with happiness. "Thank you, Mr. Carter. I couldn't have done it without you." As they leave the concert hall, walking side by side into the night, there is a sense of fulfillment and joy that radiates from both of them. They have both found something invaluable in each other, a connection that goes beyond music, rooted in mutual respect, admiration, and a shared love for what they do. In the days that follow, Liam's performance opens doors for him that he never thought possible. He receives invitations to perform at other events, offers for scholarships to prestigious music schools, and even interest from record labels. But through it all, he remains grounded, remembering the lessons Mr. Carter has taught him about humility and staying true to his passion. Mr. Carter, too, finds a renewed sense of purpose. His life, once focused solely on business, now has a deeper meaning. He continues to mentor Liam, but he also begins to involve himself more in the music community, supporting young musicians and funding music education programs in underprivileged areas. He has found a way to combine his success with his love for music, creating a legacy that goes beyond wealth and power. The story of Liam and Mr. Carter is one of mutual transformation. They have both embarked on a new beginning, one where they are not defined by their past choices or circumstances, but by the passion they share and the impact they have on each other's lives. And as they continue on their journey, they do so with the knowledge that the music they create together is more than just sound. It's a testament to the power of kindness, mentorship, and the unwavering belief in one's dreams.